As you're aware, there is a big presidential election happening this November.
Okay.
And the current president, Joseph Robinette Biden, is the Democratic Party's nominee. Which is
presumptive.
Which is totally normal, and it's how it usually works. He won last time, one term, second term, there you go. But this time, the incumbent seeking a second term is 81 years old right now, and will be 86 at the end of his second term.
86th.
If he wins, which none of that is typical. And after that televised debate last month, where Biden very much came off as a very old man, a lot of prominent Democrats and supporters of Joe Biden started publicly saying that he's probably too old to do this job for another 4 years, and definitely too old to make a compelling enough case to actually get elected to that job in the first place. So he should probably step aside so someone younger can take his place in order to defeat Donald Trump.
Of course, as we've been covering, Joe Biden himself, the only person who can actually make that decision, has been steadfast about his intention to stay the course. And among actual elected party members, there have definitely been a few who have publicly called for him to drop out, but there have been way more who have supported Biden's decision to stick around. Though, to be clear, a lot of that support has been worded in a way that's kind of non-committal. Basically, yeah, I support Joe Biden staying in the race, but also if he does decide to not stay in the race, I support that as well. You know,
I could go either way.
Yeah.
But I'm totally on Team Joe until I'm not.
Whatever keeps my position in government safe and secure. So yeah, here's Nancy Pelosi on Wednesday morning.
It's up to the president to decide if he is going to run. We're all encouraging him to make that decision because time is running short.
He has said he has made the decision. He has said firmly this week he is going to run. Do you want him to run?
I want him to do whatever he decides to do. And I've said to everyone, let's just hold off. Whatever you're thinking, either tell somebody privately, but you don't have to put that out on the table until we see how we go this week.
And then you've got others being even more intentionally vague, like Senator Tim Kaine, who knows how to lose. Here's Tim Kaine on Wednesday.
I have complete confidence that Joe Biden will do the patriotic thing for the country. And he's going to make that decision. He's never disappointed me. He's always put patriotism and the country ahead of himself, and I'm going to respect the decision that he makes.
I saw someone describe the way Democrats are talking about this, like the way people in the mafia describe doing crimes just in case the FBI has like tapped their phones.
Yeah, it is. They're using literally the Trump language, like where it's just like, you can't get him on anything because all the conversations with Michael Cohen and Rudy Giuliani they're so coded.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, listen, that's technically not Nancy Pelosi and Tim Kaine officially calling for Biden to drop out. But come on. They are definitely not saying the opposite, that's for sure. And reporting indicates that a lot more members of Congress, particularly the ones in battleground states, are in a similar boat. They're not ready to stick their heads out publicly just yet, but they're very worried that Biden's falling support in their states is going to drag them down with them.
Yeah, they're literally doing the I'm playing both sides so I come out on top. There's a very distinct and particular lack of courage from the Democratic Party, just in general, but specifically right now.
But it's very split among people who are in comfortable seats.
Yeah.
It's a lot less urgent for them than people who are in seats that could very easily go away, especially if they're being dragged down by an extremely unpopular president.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, despite the party's official stance continuing to be full support for another 4 years of Joe Biden, prominent, reliably lived-up celebs, the annoying kind, like Rob Reiner, Stephen King, and George Clooney, have publicly joined the Replace Biden camp this week, much to the shock and dismay of their fans, who have been coping with these betrayals by concluding that Rob Reiner, Stephen King, and George Clooney, clearly they want Donald Trump to win. They've gone MAGA. Someone got to him.
I love the idea, that there's just like active Clooney heads, like that. I know that there are, but that hang off the every word of George Clooney.
I think he's a great actor.
Yeah, George Clooney, the tequila salesman. Rob Reiner, meathead.
He was meathead, yeah.
He was
That's
meathead.
how he got his start.
And and he's acting a lot like meathead right now.
He's being a real meathead.
Yeah.
And George Clooney, I think you should probably sit this one out. You robbed like 3 casinos. So.
Yeah. And
Super criminal.
And much like Malachi Love Robinson, lied about being a doctor.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, it doesn't really seem like this is going away.
No.
As much as the Democratic Party and a lot of the mainstream media seem to want it to.
They're like, all right, it's settled. Let's move on now.
We've gotten past it, right, everyone?
Okay, another prominent liberal figure has come out. Well, shit.
It frustrates them when the George Clooney thing
We
happens.
said we were done with this.
When there's another senator that came out that said it. Because, yes, they have been acting as if this is the past. Like, we've all moved on.
We sorted it out.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
We looked into it, and it turns out Joe Biden is actually fine. Like that's what they're trying to present.
Yeah.
Like they're just like, well, we decided it's fine, but like essentially what you're saying, unsaid, is that Joe Biden is not senile, and what we all saw that was an illusion. Like it didn't happen.
You're watching us as I feel like I'm taking like legitimate by the definition gaslighting.
Yeah.
Where I think that I'm crazy for pointing out that I think that all of this that's happening is a little odd and that for some reason I am the only one seeing that there's clearly a problem with Joe Biden.
You are the only one seeing that. No one else sees that. What are you talking about?
It is very strange and aggravating feeling.
Is it a strange? That's weird. No one else is saying that.
Anyways, in the case of George Clooney, I mean, this isn't just some random lib celeb giving his 2 cents, but even Jeff Tiedrick, after that debate, was just like, what was that?
I mean, I wouldn't call Jeff Tiedrick a liberal celebrity. He's just a guy on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's the liberal cat turd.
Sure, yeah. But yes, he's been a huge, George Clooney.
Not Jeff Tiedrick, not cat turd, George Clooney.
Has been a huge fundraiser for the party for at least the past decade, and his calls for Biden to drop out are based on actual recent personal interactions with Biden and other elected Democrats. And here's some of what he wrote in the New York Times opinion section Wednesday. Last month, I co-hosted the single largest fundraiser supporting any Democratic candidate ever for President Biden's re-election. I say all of this only to express how much I believe in this process and how profound I think this moment is. It's devastating to say it, but the Joe Biden I was with 3 weeks ago at the fundraiser was not the Joe Big Effin' Deal Biden of 2010. He wasn't even the Joe Biden of 2020. He was the same man we all witnessed at the debate.
Was he tired? Yes. A cold? Maybe. But our party leaders need to stop telling us that 51 million people didn't see what we just saw. We're all so terrified by the prospect of a second Trump term that we've opted to ignore every warning sign. The George Stephanopoulos interview only reinforced what we saw the week before. As Democrats, we collectively hold our breath or turn down the volume whenever we see the president, whom we respect, walk off Air Force One or walk back to a mic to answer an unscripted question. Is it fair to point these things out? It has to be. This is about age, nothing more. But also nothing that can be reversed. We are not going to win in November with this president. On top of that, we won't win the House, and we're going to lose the Senate. This isn't only my opinion. This is the opinion of every senator and Congress member and governor who I've spoken with in private. Every single one, irrespective of what he or she is saying publicly. Damn.
Batman has spoken.
Yeah, and he then goes on to make some pretty solid arguments that, it's not too late to change course, and there's a big bench of possible replacements who could definitely win in November. He also, thankfully, no one else is addressing this, but there's all these just straight up lies on the internet. They're like, yeah, actually Joe Biden's name is already on the ballot, so you can't change it. He's like, no, it's fucking not.
Yeah, but
he's not even the official nominee yet. Look, there's time.
When it comes to a lot of the responses that you've seen over the past 2 weeks of Whoopi Goldberg being like, I don't care if he's pooping his pants. And Juniper had a great take on that. I think we should care that the president's pooping himself.
I do in fact care.
Yes, it is actually important that the leader of the free world, the most important job in the country, is held by someone who has it together.
The man answering the phone when the nukes get launched. I want that guy to actually, I do want that person to be sharp.
I don't want them to have to clean out their pants after they poop themselves in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Having to get up and answer that call, but wait, hold on. I've got to go use my seashells before I can answer the phone.
And just so we're clear, I'm pretty sure both of them shit themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm straddling the line. I'm both sides on the poop question.
Yeah, they're both crapping themselves. It is painfully obvious. But meanwhile, it sounds like the donor class is voting with their money. Here's NBC News. President Joe Biden's campaign has already suffered a major slowdown in donations, and officials are bracing for a seismic fundraising hit, with the fallout from a debate nearly 2 weeks ago taking a sizable toll on operations, according to 4 sources close to the re-election effort. It's already disastrous, one of the sources close to Biden's re-election said of fundraising. The money has absolutely shut off, another source close to the re-election said. 2 of the sources said this month is on a path to be down by possibly half or much more, one of them said, from large donors alone. Sources emphasized that the donations were down across the board. Donors are negative. They had a call with the president. The call seemed so contrived to people, I don't think they buy it, one of the people close to the campaign said, referring to a recent national fundraising call between Biden and donors. They called on people who were the most loyal, die-hard. There were no tough questions for the president. Initially after the debate, the campaign reported an uptick in donors, but that quickly fell off, the sources said. Trying to put a Band-Aid on like a gigantic hole in a boat.
And
actually, that's not going to be fixed.
I want to be clear. Like, these people, like, it's not that they want Trump to win. It's that it's their money. And if they're spending that money, they want it to actually have a chance of making a difference. Yeah. Whereas they have concluded, based on ample data and evidence, that throwing money at this campaign is basically throwing money in the ocean.
Yeah.
It won't make a difference. So yeah, looking at the big picture here, I don't know, sounds like you need to fucking drop out, you selfish prick. This is only gonna get worse. Defeating Donald Trump should be a fucking layup. But every day that you stay in this race makes another 4 years of Trump more likely to happen. So drop out. Do it now. For fuck's sake, please. My God. Please. I feel like I'm going insane.
Please.
Or maybe we, and half the country, are overreacting here. Maybe instead of Joe Biden staying out on the campaign trail, looking and sounding like shit, or Joe Biden dropping out of the race, maybe there's a third option. Now, we're open to any ideas at this point. So take it away, HuffPost guest columnist Kayvon Schroff.
The stakes of the 2024 presidential election cannot be overstated. With Donald Trump promising to act as a dictator on day one, it is not hyperbolic to say the future of American democracy hangs in the balance. Against this backdrop, the Biden campaign faces a critical challenge, conveying a strong and effective image of President Joe Biden to a population and media ecosystem increasingly focused on optics over substance. Given the president's concerning performance last week, it's time for the Biden campaign to consider leveraging artificial intelligence. Okay, it's time for the Biden campaign to consider leveraging artificial intelligence,
AI,
to effectively reach the voting public.
Woo! This is a new stage of cope, and I love it.
Hey, one of my granddaughters came in here and said that she talked to the chat genie, and he said that he whipped up a script for me. You're not gonna believe. That's my new Joe Biden.
Yeah.
When he gets confused, he just goes and then does that side grin where only half of his mouth opens up.
So, hell yes, this is our tech show after all.
Yeah.
You knew we were going to get to tech eventually.
It is time to
and
leverage
here it
AI.
is. And yeah, I mean, look, we've been very vocal about none of this AI shit seeming particularly useful. But what if we're wrong? We may need to reassess our position now, because if this writer is correct, AI might just save democracy.
Vice President Shrimp Jesus, anyone?
So let's read some more from this bold plan.
Yes.
Joe Biden is old and Joe Biden is old and has had a lifelong stutter. He acknowledged in a fiery rally following his debate performance, "I might not walk as easily or talk as smoothly as I used to." This has impeded his ability to communicate with mass audiences with consistent success. AI augmentations and video renderings could serve to smooth out these bumps while allowing the Biden campaign to effectively disseminate true information about the state of our democracy and the Biden administration's accomplishments. The president has limited time to campaign, as he also focuses on running the country, and AI would be a cost-effective and efficient way to communicate his message personally and directly to voters.
Did an AI write this? Probably. No. It's, you can't even make that joke because the chances of that happening.
Yeah.
Because it literally sounds like an AI hyping itself up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or someone who is probably invested in
I didn't look into this author, but I'm going to assume he's got some...
A little AI friendly?
Got some money riding on this AI thing.
Yeah. So, well, how exactly would this work?
Yeah, it's been pretty vague so far.
The idea of like doing anything to video that alters it in any way when talking about politics seems like the most dangerous road you could possibly go down.
It's just fucking hilarious because like for the last like couple years, this has been like...
This has been the threat.
The threat. It's like, oh my God. Like, once this stuff starts getting used in politics, it's fucking over. And then they're like,
hey, what if it wasn't over?
What if it was Jover? And they're like, yes, this would be the worst fucking thing in the world. But what if it could actually help Joe Biden, who is feeble and weak and can hardly string a sentence together?
This will absolutely ruin all democracy around the world. The only thing that could be worse is a doddering old fool who can't campaign. So how would this work? Well, here you go. Despite an ambitious and widely praised first term in office, he is currently trailing in polls to a man who incited an insurrection and was recently convicted on 34 felony counts. Something needs to change. And much to the chagrin of West Wing fanatics in the Beltway, it won't be the Democrats' 2024 nominee. Modern technology offers a clear solution. Shut the fuck up. AI can be used to polish how the president comes across, allowing voters to focus on his substance. How many times have we heard voters and pundits alike gripe that Biden would be the perfect candidate if he were just 10 years younger? Okay, side note, fuck off. 30 or 40 years younger. For the love of God, I don't want...
Even then, he wasn't. He ran for president in the fucking 80s, and he wasn't the perfect candidate then.
If he was 10 years younger, he would still be older than our bottom, or our baseline of 65.
Yeah.
He'd be 71 years old, and that's too fucking old. All right, continues. With modern technology, this exact deliverable is possible.
What are we talking like Joe Biden, like max headroom? Like,
they should.
We're talking about using the beauty filter on all of his like press conferences, so he looks younger. Which, ironically, if they made him look like actual younger Joe Biden, his hairline would be further back.
Yeah,
which is weird. How'd that happen?
Joe Biden might not be able to win the 2024 election, but a yassified Joe Biden has a much better shot. It had like the permanent hands with the nails in the shot.
Continues. We must ask the question, are augmented AI videos that present Biden in his best form while sharing honest and accurate information really more socially damaging than our information ecosystem's current realities? I think not. AI-generated content can be tailored to highlight President Biden's accomplishments, clearly articulate his policies, and present a consistent, compelling message. In an era where visual mediums and quick, digestible content dominate public perceptions, AI offers an opportunity for more effective communication. These AI-enhanced videos could ensure that the public does not make decisions about the future of our democracy based on an inconveniently timed cough, stray stutter, or healthy but hobbled walk. Biden suffers from a stiff gait.
Yeah, I got your stiff gait right here, buddy. The article goes on to talk about how the Republicans are probably going to use AI, so Democrats might as well use it too. Everybody's jumping on board.
Yeah.
The AI
it's called mutually assured destruction.
Yes. But without ever actually explaining what this would look like or how it would work, it just says that, AI solves this.
Yeah. It's never been done before, but...
this is more searching for a problem. This is like, all right, well, how about if we used it on Biden?
Yeah. Replacing Biden with a different candidate? What are you, stupid? Are you fucking dumb? Did you fall on your head, you fucking ding-dong? No, what we need to do is replace Biden with an AI avatar.
Yeah.
Stupid.
That's why, honestly, the safest tree you could fall out of is a coconut tree. No branches.
I mean...
No branches to hit on the way down.
That's true, yeah. Although the branches can help. If you're falling out of a tree, sometimes you want a branch.
No, you land in a comfortable pile of coconuts waiting for you at the bottom.
Comfortable, soft coconuts to break your fall.
And then you crack one and drink it.
Gosh, I could use some electrolytes right now.
So yes, this is kind of confusing, but what are we talking about? Are we talking about just shoving a bunch of Biden speeches and campaign platforms into an algorithm that creates an AI Biden avatar that's just better at articulating coherent points and answering questions? And if so, then what? Is he going to debate real Donald Trump? Yes. You send Biden avatar out to campaign stops and interviews just in his place?
Yeah, that's going to go over great.
George Stephanopoulos is going to love that.
I mean, listen, it'd be interesting television.
You know
exactly once.
You know where this would work? Space goes coast to coast. And I think he's just the host to get the real interview out of Biden that everyone needs to see. So,
yeah,
there you go.
They need to just put Biden in a big old TV like Mr. House in Fallout New Vegas.
I can't believe they haven't wheeled him over to the Tonight Show for Jimmy Fallon to tussle his hair yet.
Yeah.
But that's not only the dumbest fucking thing that we've heard. It's also something that a candidate tried to do in the UK election just last week. And AI Steve ended up coming dead last in his constituency, despite getting tons of press coverage leading up to it.
Yeah, there were so many stories like, wow, this guy's running an AI candidate in the UK election. And then election day comes around and like, yeah, everyone fucking hated that. No, everyone's like, fuck that. No,
Yeah.
I will vote for literally anyone else. He got dead last. He got like 100 votes in his entire constituency.
People in general are just opposed. You're asking a population of people, regardless UK, US, to be inspired or hopeful about a technology where their face-to-face interactions with what they consider to be a robot over the past 20 or 30 years is frustratingly talking on the phone with a call center that doesn't exist and pressing buttons and it going to the wrong thing.
One.
Shut
No,
up.
I said one.
Shut up. It's hearing the kids in the background. It keeps sending me back. Yeah, so, sorry, it doesn't seem like using AI in place of the literal president anytime that he needs to talk is going to be a winning strategy with undecided voters.
No, they're like, oh, all this talk about Biden being frail makes him look weak. But you know what won't make him look weak is if we replace him with a fucking robot. Then people will be like, wow, he's not weak. He's actually strong because of the robot.
They should project him on a bunch of clouds while he stands on the side.
Hey there, Jack.
Like the Wizard of Oz.
Hey there, Jack. I see you're stuck down there in traffic. You got 5 minutes to talk about.
Commander, stop pulling that cord. Commander, no. Oh, they've got me. I'm just a doddering old fool behind this curtain.
If Joe Biden projected himself on the clouds, I think most people would legitimately think like, oh, good, he finally died.
Yeah, I guess
That's
so.
his ghost up in the sky.
But look, we're just throwing around every idea at the wall just to see what sticks, just like everyone else in the AI industry. This idea is a dud, but we've got an even better idea. Drop out! Do it!
Just drop. It's so easy.
Leave! Bye-bye!
Just go.
Yeah.
God, every day you don't drop out makes this whole situation worse.
Yes, if
The tide is going one direction.
the sooner you drop out, the sooner Kamala can start tossing mothballs around the room to get that stank out.
Yeah.
It's got that old person smell. But that's our suggestion, and apparently it upsets everyone because
it's our suggestion, but it's an increasingly popular one. Before we came in tonight, I saw Chris Hayes is officially on the Biden dropout train. Fucking, who's the guy with the beard from Meet the Press?
Oh, Chuck
Todd is saying he should drop out. And I only popped in for a second, but you're not going to believe this. Sounds like Hutch is on the Biden dropout train, which I didn't think I'd see the day.
Good for him. I'm proud of Chuck Todd for someone who, perfectly visually demonstrates never giving up. Because if you look at Chuck Todd's hairline, that man refuses to give up. But now he's finally saying that someone should be tossing it in. That's it, Joe Biden. Your time is up.
Yeah, it's just, and there's like,
maybe he has shaved his head. I haven't seen him in a while.
There's of course, more and more unconfirmed reports, but like the latest one is like Chuck Schumer behind the scenes is like freaking the fuck out and like is just days away from pulling the plug on the campaign. And there was a senator, the first senator, a guy from New Hampshire or something, I think, went on the record. It's just every day, it's more and more.
Yeah, because I feel like a couple of them at least were like, well, he'll probably do the right thing. And now it's like, okay, fuck, we have to put our weight behind it. But on the latest episode of Chapo, they point out like how, it comes down to like them not wanting to put their necks on the line.
Yeah,
and
you don't want to be the guy who's like, yeah, he should drop out, and then he doesn't drop out, and then miraculously wins, and then you look like a fucking asshole, and no one wants to be around you.
Yeah. Seems like a losing strategy, but and the longer it goes on, the worse it is because it gives them less time to actually find.
They've already blown like 10 whole days.
Yeah,
that they could have.
The other thing they point out too is that Democrats keep saying like this is the end of democracy.
This is the most important election.
If he loses,
ever.
it is the end of America, which might actually be true. But if it is, Why aren't you running the best possible candidate right now?
Yeah, why are you calling it the most important election of all time through out one side of your mouth, and then on the other side of your mouth, you're just like, whatever.
If he gives it his best, I mean, what are we going to do?
Mixed messages.
Yeah.
Anyway, just so we're absolutely clear, our obligatory statement.
Yeah.
We want Joe Biden to drop out because we want Donald Trump to lose.
Yes. And this has...
That's why we want him to drop out.
We're not mentioning RFK Jr. because we don't even care about that guy.
Yeah, he's a non-entity.
He ate a dog.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Now, we know what's on the agenda if Trump wins. We're clear-eyed about that.
Yes.
It's not pretty. And it would be great to have a candidate who can actually articulate that instead of doing what the Biden campaign did this week and just tweeting out Google Project 2025.
Yeah, you do the work.
And then when you actually do Google Project 2025, the campaign didn't even have like an SEO-friendly website set up for when people do that. Like Google Project 2025, and then like, oh, that's smart.
I'm getting an ad for Expedia.
Yeah, the Biden campaign has has their result right there at the top. No, nothing like that. No coordination. No. This campaign it's on rails. It's not. They're fucking bad at this. They're bad.
So
they're not doing a good job.
It's first of all, it's like condescending to just be like, you do the fucking work. You figure it out. This is the most important election of your life. So I don't know, figure it out.
I don't have the emotional bandwidth to explain this thing to you. It's not my job to educate you.
Also,
why don't you read theory?
Googling fucking Project 2025, all I can imagine is like ads for Vrbo and Airbnb and Expedia being like, big travel plans next year, like, because it's just an ad.
I mean, from what I like, Google does pull up results, but like, it's obviously, if you're running for president and this is so important to your message,
you should be out there conveying it.
Why are you assigning people homework?
Yes, one of the critiques from within the Democratic Party that I've seen is that clearly, and this is a good strategy, they should be really repeating and just driving home the Project 2025 stuff, which is actually scary, but they can't because A, they're having to fucking hallucinate a totally cognitive president, and B, he doesn't have time to talk about Project 2025 because he can't fucking get his words together. And as soon as Trump says literally anything, it scrambled his brain to the point where he couldn't even retort.
But yeah, so Project 2025 is basically, it's a plan put together by the Heritage Foundation it's mostly just every single conservative proposal you've ever heard, but all in one place. And the more alarming aspects of it include getting a bunch of important federal agencies that are responsible for stuff like labor rights, climate, healthcare, consumer protection, etc., and just like destroying them, removing them entirely, gutting them, and then filling what's left of the administrative state with Trump loyalists instead of independent bureaucrats, like how it's supposed to work. And yeah, of course, they want to continue just cracking down on abortion and throwing you in prison for it and making the lives of LGBTQ people more difficult.
Or illegal.
And just fucking like murdering anyone who crosses the border. That kind of
using
thing.
the National Guard to round people up.
Yeah. It's basically, it's what's been the Republican plan since at least Reagan, but it is helpfully compiled all in one place. It's a great window into the ultra-conservative mind.
It's a wish list.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is coming true, sadly.
Oh, also, the president of the Heritage Foundation literally said recently on camera that the U.S., quote, is in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be. So yeah, I think it should be very easy to run against that.
You just point at it and
just say, hey,
this is wildly unpopular with even more than a majority of the country.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When Joe Biden won in 2020, that wasn't people voting for Joe Biden. That was people voting against Donald Trump because normal people, who thankfully do make up at least a decent plurality of the people in this country who vote, were increasingly like, wow, Trump and all of Trump's people up to some weird kind of scary shit. I'm not really interested in that. And really, you just have to be like, this is what they're doing. And like even at the debate, when abortion came up, Biden, it's like, okay, here's your chance. The most important issue of this election.
Instead,
he starts talking about like some woman who got murdered by an illegal immigrant. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's
God.
It is. It was bizarre how he took that layup and just completely like not even like screwed it up, but got his point across in the worst way possible.
Yeah, and people are like, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, he had a bad debate. Like, no, that moment in particular was just like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
He is not equipped.
Anyone could have clapped back on that.
Yeah, literally anyone.
Yeah. But at least one group of people is doing something about Project 2025, and that is a group of gay furry hackers. Here's The Intercept. SiegeSec, a collective of self-proclaimed gay furry hackers, has claimed credit for breaching online databases of the Heritage Foundation, the conservative think tank that spearheaded the right-wing Project 2025 playbook. SiegeSec released a cache of Heritage Foundation material as part of a string of hacks aimed at organizations that oppose transgender rights, although Heritage disputed that its own systems were breached. In a post to Telegram announcing the hack, SiegeSec called Project 2025 an authoritarian Christian nationalist plan to reform the United States government. The attack was part of the group's Op Trans Rights campaign, which recently targeted right-wing media outlet Real America's Voice, the Hillsong megachurch, and a Minnesota pastor.
In his foreword to the Project 2025 manifesto, the Heritage Foundation's president, Kevin Roberts, rails against the toxic normalization of transgenderism and the omnipresent propagation of transgender ideology. The playbook's other contributors call on the next conservative administration to roll back certain policies, including allowing trans people to serve in the military. We're strongly against Project 2025 and everything the Heritage Foundation stands for, one of SiegeSec's leaders, who goes by the handle VO, told The Intercept. In its Telegram post, SiegeSec said it obtained passwords and other user information for every user of a Heritage Foundation database, including Roberts and some U.S. government employees. Heritage Foundation said in a statement Wednesday that SiegeSec only obtained incomplete password information.
So, look, thank you to the gay furry hackers.
They were there when we needed them most.
Yes.
I think they're going to be doing a lot more hacking.
I think you're going to be hearing a lot more out of these gay furry hackers. So yeah, thank you to them. But back to AI news again. I mean, sure, we still haven't been able to come up with a single use case for this technology that justifies all of the massive downsides. But surely the folks over on Wall Street, who are throwing insane amounts of money at all of this AI tech right now, are doing it for a good reason, right?
Yeah, well, of course.
Well, maybe not anymore. Just like with Web3 before it, the dust is starting to settle on this hype cycle, and people are starting to question how accurate all that hype was. And by people, we mean Goldman fucking Sachs, one of the largest investment firms on Wall Street, whose only religion is money, and whose latest research report seems pretty bearish on the idea of generative AI actually being profitable anytime soon. Here's Decrypt.co with some highlights.
The global investment banking firm's June 2024 report, Gen AI, Too Much Spend, Too Little Benefit, provides a reality check for those bullish on AI. Despite the tech industry's exuberance and a staggering $1 trillion that's forecasted to be spent on AI infrastructure, the report highlights the sobering view of MIT's Darren Acemoglu and Goldman Sachs' own Jim Covello. Acemoglu estimates that AI will automate less than 5% of tasks in the next decade, contributing a meager 0.9% to GDP growth. Covello goes even further, arguing that the current AI tech isn't equipped to solve complex problems cost-effectively, at least not one that's worth investing $1 trillion on. AI bulls seem to just trust that use cases will proliferate as the technology evolves, he said in an interview cited by the report. But 18 months after the introduction of generative AI to the world, not one truly transformative, let alone cost-effective application has been found.
If AI technology ends up having fewer use cases and lower adoption than consensus currently expects, it's hard to imagine that a bust of the AI bubble won't be problematic for many companies spending on the technology today, he said. Covello believes the AI hype could last for another 18 months before investors start to lose interest due to the lack of truly meaningful advances. Contrast that with Goldman Sachs' own May 2024 report, which, despite its cautious tone, was practically lyrical about AI's potential. The report, led by Joseph Briggs, predicted generative AI would eventually boost U.S. productivity by 9% and GDP by 6.1% over 10 years. It painted a rosy picture of AI laying the groundwork for future efficiency gains and economic growth, emphasizing early positive signs from AI adoption in specific sectors. So why the sudden change in tune? The June report pointed out the high costs, slow returns, and significant infrastructure challenges that could throttle AI's growth.
So again, Wall Street does not care about whether AI will improve all of our lives or create a utopian society. They literally only care whether it makes money. And it's looking like at least one Wall Street firm has looked at the data and concluded that there's pretty good chance that generative AI is just a big money pit.
One of the things Ed Zitron has pointed out multiple times, we've talked about it before, but the idea that you just let it go and do its thing is false. For the foreseeable future, you need checks and balances on everything it does. And that's been proven every step of the way. With every deployment, there's been some horrific problem.
Yeah.
Where you are now doing twice the work. You need someone checking the robot's work.
It's not saving you money.
No.
So yeah, whether this has larger implications remains to be seen. But yeah, it's a pretty big pivot from where things were a year ago or even a month ago.
Yeah.
But let's move on to our final topic of the day. Mark Zuckerberg and his ongoing transformation from a guy who looks like an evil robot into a guy who, dare we say, looks kind of cool. Not that he is cool, of course.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
He is not cool. But after his weird interactions last summer with Elon Musk over that MMA fight between
Remember
them
that?
never happened, Zuck seems to have realized that after years of being the villain, in comparison to Elon, he actually seemed relatively normal and relatively cool. And it sounds like he's like, now's my opportunity.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, he ditched that weird Roman emperor haircut and let his curly locks flow. He stopped wearing exclusively gray t-shirts and jeans. He even started rocking a gold chain. Last week, Mark Zuckerberg confronted one of his most infamously uncool moments. And of course, you'll remember a few years back when paparazzi caught Mark Zuckerberg riding some sort of electric surfboard while just caked in sunscreen and caked in other ways. And he looked like a surfing mime. He really did look ridiculous.
Yeah, he looked like a kabuki theater actor.
Yeah. Well, as of last week, when you Google Mark Zuckerberg surfing, much of that cringe has now been replaced by this. It is Mark Zuckerberg surfing on a normal surfboard, or is it a surfboard or a wakeboard?
Oh, it's a surfboard, but he's wakeboarding, I think. Or it's a wakeboard. I don't know. He's surfing on it.
And he's also wearing a tuxedo. He's holding a tall boy and an American flag. He's rocking the gold chain. He's sipping the beer. And at least to our eyes, he's doing a great, effortless job on that surfboard.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
No.
He looks cool.
If I had plenty of time to train and a trainer and, you know.
If I had $100 billion.
And a designer to do me up, I'm sure that I tried surfing a year and a half ago and I got up, I rode a wave for a little bit.
Oh, you actually got up.
Yeah.
I tried it I was 17 at the time, had no fucking upper body strength.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a bad day.
You need a lot of core strength. I
didn't have it at
someone
the time.
watching this to surf is going to look at these fucking losers. But popping up on the board is
getting
the hard.
up.
And you have to do that so many times the first, when you're learning.
It sucked too. My instructor was literally a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Who was just like, no, you just do it like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, man.
It's much like, because I didn't grow up with snow sports, it's like when I tried to learn snowboarding and skiing out here, where you have to have such good core strength because you fall so much and you have to get yourself back up. And that is literally the hardest part.
That's the work.
Yeah.
But back to Zuck.
Yeah.
So yeah, in spite of everything else about this man and the deeply evil impact that he has had on human society,
Blood on his hands.
you do simply got to hand it to him. That is pretty damn cool, what he's doing on the 4th of July.
Look, the PR pivot is fine. He's still a terrible person.
Yeah.
He's awful, but it's nice to have someone out there going, I'm not intentionally trying to be evil 100% of the time.
Yeah.
I'm actually the most normal guy.
Yeah.
He's been in the same relationship forever. He's got a wife and kids.
He has hobbies outside of world domination.
He seems to be somewhat enjoying himself. He's also doing that on the backs of insane land grabs.
Yes.
And
he's a bad person.
Yes.
But the surfing with the American flag and the beer and the gold chain and the tuxedo, pretty cool. Very cool. And everyone seemed to agree. They're like, wow, I didn't think I liked Mark Zuckerberg, but hey, that's pretty cool.
It's like
everyone that is.
Oh, yeah.
Except for
one,
Elon Musk.
Yeah, of course.
Who said on Twitter, may he continue to have fun on his yachts. I prefer to work.
Shut up.
What a fucking loser.
Yeah.
This is this is the Chad and Cuck meme brought to life.
Yeah, well, I
actually-
prefer to stay inside coding.
Oh, having fun? That's so basic. I like to stay at home and work. And yes, I did count. Elon tweeted at least 20 times on July 4th when this video was posted. Not including retweets, probably closer to 30 or 40. So I don't know, maybe that's what he meant by working?
Well, yeah, he's
on a
literally-
fucking national holiday?
He's
I
literally
prefer
said
to
that
work.
that's working before. But also, one of the most infamous photos of Elon is on a yacht getting sprayed down.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry. If we're putting these two men up against each other, I'm Zuck every time.
Yeah, I guess.
Like,
yeah. It's like, okay, Zuck sucks. And it's cool to see him in that surfing photo or whatever. And it's great that that's the bar. That's the lowest bar. And anything lower than that is just actively hating on minorities. Like, while Zuck is surfing and drinking a beer, Elon Musk is actively making people's lives harder.
yeah, Elon Musk is like sitting in an office surrounded by crushed up Diet Coke cans.
Yeah, and like ketamine bombs.
Yeah, he smells like fucking ass.
Yes.
He's got like jars of, every time he has jerked off, he's put it in a jar because someone might need that later. So he's surrounded by like jars of his own cum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's what he's doing, and he's like, oh, actually, I prefer to work.
Elon probably like donates sperm.
Probably gets off on it.
Yeah.
I can only come if I'm at the fertility center.
We're going to find out in like 20, 30 years that he like actually is Genghis Khan. Like, he's going to have like thousands, tens of thousands of children. Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Neither do I. I don't like any of these folks.
Anyway, that's our show. Please, if you liked the episode, give us one of those thumbs up down there. It'll do a little fireworks show for you.
Yeah, the fireworks aren't over.
Yeah.
Just because the 4th of July is behind us.
Put the dogs to bed because
Boom!
leave a comment, get the conversation started down there. Hit
Yeah.
the subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you're feeling generous, this video was not sponsored and might get demonetized.
So click the join button,
click
please,
the
for the
join
love
button.
of God.
$5 a month gets you the hands, or for a one-time dono, press the thank button.
Yeah, we love it.
And over here, we got our previous 2 episodes, just more Biden talk. But we also talked about RFK allegedly eating dog meat in one of those. So there you go.
We will see you soon. I can't guarantee it won't be about Biden or the election, but I'm sorry, that's the biggest thing happening right now.
It's exciting. I'm hating it, but I'm kind of loving it.
It's must-see TV, baby.
Mhm.
All right.
Bye.
See you soon.